Hello, my name is Victor Pastrana. Today's date is 2/25/2026. This assignment is for FTH212 week 2. We are going to be going over 5 steps, trying to get this done in under 12 minutes. Step 1, disassemble and lay out the components. Luckily, I didn't have to do that for the simple fact that my weapon came disassembled. Step 2, identify 6 components. We're going to be going over cycle of operation with it and small description. Step 3, critical dimensions, identification, failure analysis. Step 4, gunsmith training, component and interaction. And step 5, reassemble, go through the cycle of operations and functions check. So after step 4, we're going to stop the video and pretty much reassemble the entire firearm and go from there. This is the firearm that was sent to me. It is the 9mm dagger palmetto arms. First, we're going to go over the barrel. It's the primary pressure vessel. It stabilizes the projectile and is active during feeding, chambering, locking, and unlocking. Dimensions and failure. Critical dimensions here is the locking lug geometry. Defense, if the lug rounds off or pings, the barrel won't stay locked into the slide during the peak pressure of firing. This could lead to catastrophic out of battery dimensions. You'll typically see smileys or wear damage on the barrel, hood, and normal tilting action. 2 would be the slide itself. Function. The slide acts as the bolt carrier. It houses the firing pin and extractor and facilitates almost every step of the cycle of operation. Critical dimensions. The critical dimensions is breech face flatness. Defense is if the breech face is uneven or fouled, the casing won't sit flush. This causes the firing pin to strike the primer at an angle, leading to light strike or piercing the primer itself. Always look for gas erosion rings around the firing pin hole. The third would be the recoil spring assembly. The assembly stores kinetic energy during extraction and ejection to power the slide forward and feeding and locking. Dimensions and failure. The critical dimensions is the free length, the failure. If the spring is loose, rated tension pressure drops in pounds. If it fails to absorb slide velocity, this leads to frame batting, which can eventually crack the frame. You'll see flat spots on the coils where they have reached their elastic limit. 4, the trigger bar. This translates your physical pull to the firing pin safety and the striker. It is the heart of the firing phase. Dimensions and failure. The critical dimensions is cruciform engagement. The failure, if the sear tab has less than 2/3 engagement of the striker, the firearm is no longer drop safe. A shake jar could cause it to fire. Look for mushrooming on the vertical extension that engages the safety plunger. The extractor would be next. The extractor captures the cartridge rim and is the primary player in the extraction phase. The dimensions and failure. The critical dimensions is the claw gap. The failure, if the gap is out of spec or too wide, the claw loses its bite during the high velocity rearward stroke, leaving the spent casing in the chamber. Look for chipped edges on the claw, often caused by slam loading rounds directly into the chamber. Last but not least is the connector. Resets the trigger bar and determines the pull weight during the firing phase and reset dimensions. The critical dimensions is the bent angle. The failure, if the bent is too far inwards, it won't catch the trigger during the slide return, causing a dead trigger. After the first shot, inspect the pigeon head for scouring or deep scratches on the reset shelf. Interactions and tools. Action. The frame and the slide show how these parts talk to the rest of the gun. Supporting interaction. These 6 parts rely on supporting cast. The barrel interacts with the locking bolt to cam downwards during unlocking. The slide rides on the 4 steel frame rails. If the rails are worn or bent, the slide alignment shifts. The extractor relies on the depression plunger assembly for tension. If the plunger is installed backwards, the extractor loses the flex needed to snap over the rim. The trigger bar must push the firing pin safety up to clear the channel. Finally, the connector is held by trigger housing at a precise angle. As the slide cycle, internal cam hits the connector to reset the trigger bar for the next shot. Training. A gunsmith needs meteorology and metallurgy training. Without it, you might polish a sear until it's dangerously thin or fail to measure engagement with an inspecting backplate. Understanding work hardening is what prevents a smith from making a firearm unsafe during a trigger job. Replacement. Replacing an extractor is a 5 to 10 minute task. You will need a 332 punch and an extractor tension gauge. As a professional, you don't just drop the part in. You verify the tension, ensuring 100% extraction reliability. The last step, I will be turning off the camera now to complete, which is the reassembly of the firearm itself, and then running through the cycles of operation. So far I've done step 1 through 4. We will come back for step 5. Thank you.